Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Joe, DoorDash's very own Frankenstein monster, back at you with another video here. I don't need a dozen of the Krispy Kreme Frankenstein donuts. I don't need to buy those right now to get in the festive Halloween mood because I am the actual monster with real actual stitches in my head right now. So I don't need those Frankenstein Krispy Kreme donuts. You guys can get them if you need them, but why do that when I'm already the real actual monster? Okay, so stitches come out on Monday, by the way. Okay, logged in at 6 o'clock. First offer at 6:06, and I got it right there. There it is right there. Minimum $2 order. Speedway, and I did not notice this until just now pulling up these pictures for this video, but I did not notice that this was, it says including nicotine. So am I to assume that DoorDash has now open up the floodgates on tobacco products, cigarettes, chewing tobacco, stuff like that? Maybe, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about that because if you've followed the channel for a while now, some of my older videos where I talked repeatedly in videos about fighting tooth and nail to get it was supposed to be just a simple process to opt out of alcohol orders, but for whatever reason it wasn't with my account. I tried to opt out. I did everything that was ever asked of me to opt out, and I couldn't get opted out. I had to go through DoorDash support and various different channels and emails and this and that, and I finally was able to get off of it. And I hope that, if they are getting into cigarettes now, hopefully DoorDash, please just put like a little switch that I can just toggle off and not do tobacco products, and hopefully I can just turn that switch off and I don't get them. Hopefully there's no, long drawn out battle that I have to go through again, because that was like a nightmare. But anyway, 10 minutes later, I got a $5 McDonald's. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm on my way and get an add-on, $4 for a mile. Sure. So now it's $9.25 for 5 miles. So absolutely. Did have to wait in there about 6 minutes. The first order was, they were finishing up when I walked in there, and then a few minutes on the other one. And then delivered the first one at 6:41, 2 and 3. That's a $5 one, and then 6:49. So a little over a half hour for the 9.25. 2 and 2 on the other ones. 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Be right back at you. 4 minutes later, I declined this, $4 order. Just didn't want to do a $4 standalone order when it was the McDonald's and it was an add-on, and I was going there anyway. That was kind of different. Waited a few minutes. Upside down IHOP declined, delivering out of zone. Thank you very much. Again, upside down IHOP delivering to, that looks like maybe Cleveland, Ohio, maybe even Buffalo, New York, maybe somewhere. Decline. Okay, and then first, subject of the video, I was, waiting for an order. I just thought I'd mess around in my settings and check out like whatever I could see on DashLink. And so I saw where you go in there and you join the wait list, and presumably you do that every day that you want to work. Each day you have to join that wait list. That's how I assume it works. So I joined it. You see here it's 6:59, and then there's the queue that it says I'm in. So it says I'm spot number 164, and there's at that point there's 30 total offers for the day. So dispatch scheduled for 7 o'clock. And then I'll give, a couple more updates about that as we go. But a couple kind of initial things that came to mind is, well, first, I'm still trying to understand what the draw is to this. What is so enticing, attractive, or whatever about this to where you're telling me 164 dashers just in my market are chomping at the bit to get these 30 orders? 164 people? What? This is, I've been doing this 3 years. This is my first ever time even bothering with it. What's the draw to it? Because, and tying in along with that is that the other thing is, I'll say first is, so if you got, I don't know, is this going to be a normal thing? Like if I start doing this on a daily basis, and is 164 people, is that generally about what I'm going to see each day, total number on the wait list? If there's that many people on it, it's kind of weird why I would be seeing the offers at all. Like the one yesterday. Why would that went through like over 100 people yesterday, and then there's no more people on the wait list, and then that's how I saw it? Really? I don't know. Something just doesn't seem right about all this to me. Um, the offers that I've seen so far, including yesterday, um, I just don't see the real benefit or the draw to doing that versus what other types of orders the DoorDash doesn't, the DoorDash already has. Sorry for stumbling around, guys. I don't see but I don't see why and there's even that switch there where you can toggle it off if you only want to see DashLink offers. You don't want to see anything else. So from what I understand about DashLink, I'm trying to kind of rationalize, like, why would somebody prefer that over already existing types of orders? The only thing I could come up with, that this is all I could come up with today, is now I understand that there's a lot of dashers that just do not like shopping orders, and they turn that switch, and there's no way I'm going to do any shopping orders. Can't stand it. Don't want to go into stores, shop for items, yada yada. Okay, well, in my market, I know that if I did that, shopping orders are what I wish I could just exclusively do if I could. That's where I feel the money's at. I prefer those orders, okay, personally, and would only do those if I could. As far as I'm concerned, that's where the money's at. Okay, but if I were to turn shopping off and still go out there every day with the same, trying to get the same daily goals that I get now and everything. I tell you what, it'd be kind of like harder to do with just picking up from restaurants only. I think that would be in my market. It'd be I don't know. Do I want to say a lot harder to meet my daily goals? Maybe, possibly. I mean, because you're mostly faced with, I mean, you guys see the restaurant orders that I get. Look at the ones I got so far. $4 and $5 orders, $6. The catering orders are few and far between anymore. So I can understand it. I can understand 164 people getting on this waiting list who don't like to do shopping orders. And this, it would maybe be a quicker way to get their daily goals versus, just going through the day and picking up $5 and $6 McDonald's orders all throughout the day. So but for somebody like me that does the shopping orders, I'm trying to understand when I can't come up with anything. And unless I do a couple of these and see for myself some kind of other benefit that maybe I'm not thinking of right now. But other than that, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Okay, but anyway, moving on, and I'll talk more about that here soon. Get a hidden tip McDonald's, $6 hidden tip, less than 2 miles. Okay. So I had a couple problems with drop-off photos today. The photo is too dark. Does this photo look dark to anybody? I tried to take this photo like 3 or 4 times. With all of them, like with a flash. This was so bright and so clear that you could almost read the order number on this bag, and I went ahead and marked it out. So if that's not a clear, bright photo, I don't know what is. So I kind of messed up just a little bit on this. Since it wasn't accepting a photo, I marked it in the app hand to customer. But when I do that, and this would happen later on in the Dash, I always send a picture like this drop off photo. If I'm going to do hand to customer, I need to send this photo in the chat to the customer, and I failed to do it on this order. I don't know why I was in such a hurry in that moment or whatever, but anyway, completed the order, and so just 50 cents was hidden, so $2 and a $4.50 tip. That took 14 minutes. All right, $5.50, 5.5 mile Taco Bell. Why not? 20 minutes for my $5.50, $2 and $3.50. A few minutes later, $6.50, 4 mile Taco or McDonald's. Sorry, just kind of like routine stuff to start with. $2 and $4.50, 14 minutes. So that works. $5 mile-and-a-half McDonald's. No shopping orders yet. Okay, so now at 8:09, they've added a couple offers. Now it's 32 offer, and I've dropped down 2 spots down to 162. And then this new message that says that the dispatch is delayed by an hour or 2. So maybe they were going to start dispatching at 8, and it's going to get delayed till like 9 or whatever. But that was the update at 8:09. So delivered this at 8:14, 11 minutes for $5, 2 and 3, easy. $9 4.5 mile Chick-fil-A, and this is delivering close to the Meijer, so I'll be in range for hopefully my first shopping order. 22 minutes, 2 and 7. Okay, and my first Meijer offer is not a good one. Upside down, 1450, 16 miles. Got to go to Meijer and Target, and one of them's West Zone. This is like a triple zone action here, picking up in my zone and delivering to West Zone and Downtown Zone. For all of that for $14, no thanks. 1850, 7.5 mile Meijer, 37 things to shop for. I went ahead and took this knowing that this in all likelihood is probably going to take a little over an hour with having to shop 37 things plus my driving. So I'm not going to make my normal 25 an hour on this one, but I went ahead and took it. Get to Meijer a few minutes later, and I also kind of scrolled through the list before I accepted it, and it didn't look too bad. It's just the one case of water. If I would have also seen like gallons of milk, and you see that's just a half gallon there, but if I would have seen like several gallons of milk or 24 cases of pop and a bunch of heavy stuff, then I would have declined it. But really, is the biggest thing was just the one case of water. And it took me over a half hour to shop this, and there's a couple tricky things there. I had to refund the toothpaste. There was something else, I can't remember offhand what it was that I had to refund. And it's supposed to be hand to customer, but they didn't answer the door. So you see here, I gave it about 4 minutes after getting out of the car, and I took the first couple things up to the door, like knocked on the door and waited a few minutes, and I also pressed what I thought was a doorbell, but I'm not 100% for sure. And yeah, nobody ever came. So this time I, sent my drop off photo in the chat like I should have done on that earlier one. And there's the pay screen. So this did take over an hour. This is an hour and 6 minutes for $18.50. So $13.50 from DoorDash and a $5 tip. So yeah, not a great order, but it wasn't the end of the world, and I would recover later. Upside down crumble cookie, downtown zone, decline. Here we go, 1450, 10 miles, but that's all in zone. Kroger. Only 5 things to shop. This was the good Kroger on Hoover. Okay, here's another check on this at 10. And everything's been dispatched. So now you see at 10 o'clock, 0 offers. So I didn't get anything. And I went ahead, and you see at the bottom of the screen, I went ahead and toggled that switch to notify me when the wait list opens. So it's every day at 9. I wonder if it's the same time every day. If it opens at 9:30 p.m. every day for the next day, And where's my phone at? So I wonder if, is DashLink that big a deal? Like that's what I want to try to find out. Is there Dashers that are on here like at 9:28 in the evening, and they're sitting here, okay, come on, 9:30, come on. Okay, and they got their finger on the, okay, it's 9:30, wait list, wait list, wait list. And to try to get, like, is it that they wanted that badly, and is it that serious? That's what I'll find out. We'll see. Like I said, my experience to this point with the offers that of course, I've only seen like 3 offers so far, so I can't say too much. But from what I've seen so far, I don't know. I don't know what the draw is. I really don't. Okay, here we go. Some, tampons, cookies, candies, some hair color, and 3 monsters. And surprise, surprise! They've started slowly but surely, hopefully, they're starting to put aisle numbers on here. The aisle number, and only on a couple of them, I think just these 2 items had aisle numbers. These aisles were correct. I don't really know if the bay and shelves were correct, because the first thing I went to try to find was that hair color, and I got into the aisle, and I was gonna try to look for the bay and the shelf, and try to see how they're, because I know at Meijer how everything's labeled, and I was trying to figure out Kroger's labeling system, when this associate guy comes up to me, and he basically just forced himself on me to help me. He's seen that I was looking for hair color, and like didn't even, like, he could have politely asked if I wanted help, but he just like insisted that he find this item. It's kind of a little bit irritating, actually, but anyway, he found that. The chips, the fact that the aisle number was on there, I'm not messing around with the bays and the shelves for today, but just the fact that it pointed me to the right aisle, that was good enough for me, and I went down there and found the cookies. Then the other thing was this, so the monsters, I already know in Kroger from shopping in there that there's like 3 different places I checked for the monsters, and this said, well, I thought there was a location listed. I guess there wasn't. Maybe it was something else I was thinking of. They have like a cold drink section, big long, like a wall or an aisle, whatever. And then this picture right here, this is the dry. That's the dry shelves. They're not cold. And so I checked those 2 places, as well as the checkout lanes. All 3 places had monsters, but none of them had. And I never heard of this flavor before. The orange dreamsicle. I know about the other one. It's like orange sunrise or what. I've had that one, but yeah, I've never heard of this orange dreamsicle one. So may have to try that if they have it in 0 sugar. But yeah, I sent this picture of the customer, and he said refund. So the shop done at 10:21, so 11-minute shop. Delivered at 10:34. It's a little over a half hour for $14.50. That works. $9 and a $5.50 tip. That Meijer order, I forgot to mention. And speaking of like aisle numbers, everything's usually in order in a Meyer shop, ordered by its aisle number, and everything's like in order and everything. This order today, for whatever reason, it was all jacked up. And like the produce was like wasn't together. It was like all throughout that list. I was doing a lot of scrolling up and down the whole list because it was, and there's a couple things that, for the first time I saw things that like didn't have the section numbers, like just the aisle. And I'm like, well, this is no good, because Meyer was orders was really good for giving all the aisles and section numbers. And so I don't know. It's weird why, like in this Kroger one, you just put the locations for a couple things. Why not all of the things? I don't know. It's weird. Upside down Sonic decline. Boom. Second subject of the video. First of two catering offers. But it doesn't say catering here, which I was like, I saw this offer come across. I'm like, $29.50 hidden tip city barbecue, and this, come on, this is a catering, or there's no way this is just one person's lunch. Come on, I knew better. It's going up to Hilliard, but that's perfectly okay for an order like this. Let's do it. And so here is the list, and this is a catering order if I've ever seen one. Look at all that. There ain't no way one family is eating all this right here. 3 dozen buns, and all that meat, and 2 pans of green beans, 2 pans of mac and cheese, 2 pans of pudding. I took 2 catering bags in here, and that's exactly what I needed. This stuff was in 4 bags, put 2 bags in each catering bag, and these were heavy. All 4 bags had some weight to them. I thought about using the wagon when I got to this customer, and but I didn't, and because I don't know how far I'm gonna have to walk once it went to like this. It's kind of like a manufacturing plant, and I didn't know how far I was gonna need to walk once I got in there. But fortunately, I just went in the front door into an office, and then the customer met me there, and he did want it taken back a ways, but he offered to carry one of the bags. So we did kind of go into the plant and walk down a little ways, but I was just carrying one of his bags. And yeah, he was real cool and everything. And so I closed that out at 11:11. How much? Take a guess at what the final payout on this. If by chance it would have been like $75, then that right there would have put me at goal for the day. So let's check it out. $57.93. I'll take that too. $5.25 and a $52.68 tip. Absolutely. Thank you very much. It takes me up to $133. So now I don't need much now to hit goal. 1950 Michaels, going out to Reynoldsburg zone, decline. There's the list. I don't know. I don't know anything about any of this. I'm not a painter. I don't buy paint. Here's like a brush set. I mean, and whatever this Mod Podge acrylic sealer, I have no idea what that is. This might be a problem for me. So I'm just not going to do it. And I actually got up into the 50s today, acceptance rate. So that took me down to 50% at that point. Boom, here we go. Second consecutive catering offer that I accept. 2646. It is good. It looks like I thought this was going to Gehenna. You see it right there, right next to the pin. More about that here in a second. Listed as a catering order. 2646, 18 and a half miles. I got a couple options here. You see the timer got all the way down to 4 seconds. I could take this and do it, and then that just be my last order. I could take this. I could get out there, and then I could log into that zone, and maybe if I felt like it, and do another couple orders or two. When I got out to that zone, I could do that. There's a couple different options here, and it's not that horrible of an offer. I'm getting it's the mileage isn't up. It's not upside down. I will have the return miles back, but I get at least $8 for that. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if I'm making sense or not. I went ahead and took it. So I get in there, and it's I don't know how this was a catering order. This was only 5 pizzas, and 4 of them were 10-inch. It's just 4 10-inch pizzas and 1 14-inch. And then that costs. My wife and I eat there, and it's. I didn't think Pizza Cottage is that expensive because we go there, but those 5 pizzas was over $100. I don't know. I get in there. I don't get with somebody right away. I go in there. I go to the bathroom. I come out. I kind of wait a couple minutes or whatever. And then, we're at the 3-minute mark. And when they finally get with me, and she goes and checks, and she said, well, it's going to be about 7 minutes on that. And I was like, all right. So we're looking at about 10 minutes total here. So I sit down, and that gives me a couple more minutes while I'm waiting to kind of think about this order a little bit more. And well, let's see. Okay, let's see where this is going. Let's get an address here and see where this is going. It's going to a hotel at the airport. And in all my past videos, when I talk about the airport and the deliveries that I deliver near the airport, I'm talking about Rickenbacker Airport here. This was going to the Big Dog Airport. We're talking about John Glenn International Airport. We're talking the big leagues airport here, where I have never been to before as a dasher, and I don't know that I want to start going out there today. Now, it's going to like the lobby of a hotel, like right near that airport. But still, I don't, I don't really and truly not interested in going out to that area. Even if it is just going to one of the hotels and not the actual airport. So I'm sitting there. Well, she said 7 minutes at the 3-minute mark. This means more than likely I'm going to be able to 10-minute drop this. Oh, I'm going to watch this timer, and as soon as I can, yeah. Okay, so here it is right there, right at the 10-minute mark. Completion rate will not be affected. Gone. Drop unassigned. I don't unassign, catering orders very often, but this one going to the international airport, not, and hey, like I said, it wasn't that bad of an offer. I don't think so. Another dasher, probably the next dasher that got this was probably more than thrilled, to get a catering order. I had already just done one. Let's give another dasher an opportunity on this one. That's how I looked at it. Okay. Uh, $21. 20. Are we sure that's 23 miles? Because that pin that's further out east, that to me looks like I can't really tell if that's Tokyo, Japan, or Osaka, Japan. Maybe one of those two. Uh, but yeah, I'm not leaving the country for $21. Decline. Upside down crumble cookie and PetSmart. Decline. Going. Looks like right into the heart of downtown Columbus for $9. I mean, oh, here we go. $10. 4 Mile Raising Canes. You got to be careful with Raising Canes because it's of where it's located. But from my current, I was still sitting in the Pizza Cottage, and from that position, it's a right-hand turn into the Raising Canes and a right-hand turn leaving it to go to this customer. So no left-hand turns without a light. So and $10, let's go ahead and do it. There was a problem with this order. Is there any way I can maybe get the Pizza Cottage order back? This one was going to the previous employer, the W-2. So if I didn't want to go to the airport, I want to go to the previous W-2 even less. I'm not dropping 2 orders in a row. But whatever. Okay, let's go in there and get this, and I guess go to the W-2. Great. It was this is kind of a big order. This was 4 box meals, and I had to fix 3 of the 4 drinks, but not the 4th one because the lemonade is behind the counter. So I don't understand that. You have all this unsweetened sweet tea and all the soft drinks and everything else is self-serve, and why is lemonade not? That's kind of weird. So they fixed that drink. I fixed the other 3. I hope I placed the order right and got the correct number of cane sauces. I apologize if I didn't. And then I make my way to the W-2. Fortunately, there was only one person that recognized me, and it was not the first. When I walked into the security shack, it's not the first person, but the one that was kind of sitting back. And I heard him, but I didn't see him. I didn't. He just said hi, and I how are you doing? I'm good. How are you doing? And that's about all I said. I just wanted to get the what out of there before anybody else saw me. It's just a type of thing. I want the W-2 in the past. I quit it, and I don't want anything to do with the old W-2. I'm all about gig work now, and this is my life now, and I've moved on, and I don't know. I'm probably making too big of a deal about it. I don't know, guys. Here we go with another drop off. And I have problems with this too. Okay, so I take this picture and I immediately walk out to my car and I see this. That it doesn't show proof of delivery. You know, you need a door frame in the picture. Okay. Well, here's my problem with this is that why does this only happen a few times, just very rarely for these type of photos? Why is it that I have leave at the door orders going to the hospital? There's no door frames in those pictures. I walk in there and there's the main hospital has a table that you set orders at. The ER has like it looks kind of like a bookshelf on wheels type of thing, and that's what you set your orders on. Hey, neither one of those has a door anywhere close to those drop off locations. And I take pictures there and don't get an error message like this. And most of the time I don't. But once every so often, once every, month or two or whatever, you just kind of out of the blue, you kind of forget about this type of thing. And then here it comes today. I get a no door frame error, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Why does there have to be a door frame in this photo inside a guard shack, but at the hospital on the little bookshelf that I take pictures of, that's okay. There doesn't have to be a door frame. Who knows? I escaped the W-2 20 minutes or whatever, $2 and an $8 tip. Upside down golden china going to, is that like that's somewhere in Australia, I think. I can't really tell from this screenshot, but that's across one or two oceans or whatever. And so, yeah, I think I'll decline that and stay in this country. $4 McDonald's decline. Upside down Dick's Sporting Goods. What's with Reynoldsburg here? What's the deal here today with Reynoldsburg Zone? They got their own Dick's. I'm sure of it. Reynoldsburg, and now I lost my train of thought. The most populous city in the world that's right next to Reynoldsburg. What's it called again? Why am I losing my... Why I forgot about it? You got to be kidding me here. I got airplane mode on my... Give me a second here, folks. This is absolutely crazy. I got to pull up my map here. Where's it at? I don't know. Anyway. I don't know why my mind's going blank. This city that's like right next to Reynoldsburg, that's population 25 times greater than New York City and Tokyo put together. They have Dick's, I know they have Dick's Sporting Goods without even going out there to check or look it up. And why would it be coming from here? I think I'm just tired, guys. I'm tired here all of a sudden. I get like this. I can't think at all. I'm sorry. $5.20, 3.5 mile Cosmo Prof. Yeah, this should be easy, and it was. I walk in there, I just pick up one little bag, go down the street, deliver it. That was easy. Took me 11 minutes, $4. There it is right there. Thank you very much. Let's do one more and call it a days. Even though this is upside down, 675 Starbucks. See that from my position, this right here, this road, and then this other road getting to the Starbucks. That's all 55 mile an hour. So I got there in no time, and then this customer is close to home here, so this worked. Delivered in 17 minutes, 325 and 350 tip. And that is it for this dash. And we will do this all again tomorrow. Thanks so good. And I'll try to tonight. I don't know if I'll be up right at 9:30. Sit here and like immediately at 9:30 get on that DashLink waitlist. That's not going to be me tonight. But probably, I don't know. I'll probably even be asleep before that. I go to bed early. Maybe the first time in the middle of the night that I get up to go to the bathroom, I'll get on the wait list then. And then maybe instead of number 140 or whatever the heck I was, maybe I'll be like 40 or 50. So who knows? We'll see. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and we'll see you at the next video. Thanks again.